And so this, just to reiterate, this is a meeting of the town board of the town of Northeast. It is Thursday, February 13th, 2025, and we're going through the agenda. We've missed my comments and the assessor's comments, but we're moving through the agenda. The next item on the agenda is for tax collector and planning, building and zoning.
Yeah, so as of today, we've collected 37% of the taxes. I know we paid off the fire district, their budget. And we made these flyers. The board came up with these flyers of where the money is spent. There's a sample right there, the color coded, and these are sent in every receipt that goes out. And we've given over 50 have been picked up so far. So that we just started this week, right? So that's good. The rest of the reports for the planning, zoning, building have all been sent to the board.
Okay.
So how many tax bills do you remember approximately how many you send out? How many thousands?
This is-
We have just under 1,900
Yeah.
parcels.
1,900.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we've had hundreds come in. I mean, they've been paying since mid-January, since the day the bills went out,
Yeah.
January 15th, yeah. So,
All right. Highway committee is, it's basically, I'm going to talk about the new highway garage. The activity that's going on up there at the moment is that we are about to contract for a fence to be installed around the site. That's an item coming up on the agenda. But other than that, I think that the highway department has been, from what Bob has told me, but has been functioning well. And I talked earlier about the new town hall and the work that has been going on there to get the HVAC system up and running. This building keeps on going. Anything on housing you want to,
No.
should we mention anything about Amenia?
Yes, Amenia was certified as a pro-housing community, so they actually, they went past the first steps.
Right.
As we're in the first step, so they basically completing all the paperwork to show their updated zoning or building permits, and so we'll be getting to that in the next,
Yeah,
maybe the end of this year. I'm not sure.
hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
see what we can do. So with that, I think we've gone through that, the department and board committee reports, unless there's any other committee that wants to report.
So we had a communications committee meeting.
Okay,
Just really taking a look at our website compared to some other local municipalities. There's a lot of improvement, but we're looking to see how we can make the easy use better for people. What do you want to add?
No, basically, it's more like, it takes most people only stay on for 3 clicks when they
Yeah.
look for info, so we're asking other people too, like, if you're looking for certain things, can you even find it? So, and then we'll tweak it from there. I mean, definitely we need a total redesign at some point, but we're not at that point yet with our other projects, so.
okay.
Tilly's been helping a lot.
I look at other towns' websites from time to time, and sometimes you see one that just is great, and you think,
Yeah,
that's great.
And then you see others that.
And then you see others that are complete duds, and
you
we're
might just
sort of
think
in,
ours
I
is
think,
great. Yeah,
we're pretty good.
It's true, like some of them look like eye candy, like woo, and then you can't find anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But the
All right.
villages is much improved too.
Okay,
But I mean,
Yeah.
having just an offset of our communication committee is just having something that we can give the residents to show about our town budget. You know, the pie, looking at it from a visual standpoint of where things, are spent by the town. I think it'll be interesting. how people view this, but
Yes, and while we're on that, I would like to thank you and everybody who worked, can you just remind me who all worked on it so I don't
Yeah.
miss anybody?
okay, so Lana, Lorna, and Catherine, and Tilly, and myself,
Okay,
and
and this
you
is,
also oversaw part of it.
I had no responsibility for it.
But we
but
really
it's-
started from many categories and then distilled it down to
Yeah.
10, 12, I'm not
I
sure.
think, which is
Yeah,
great, because
Yeah.
if you go with many, every piece of the pie is tiny.
it's too small.
And this is, I think, a real public service, which is to try and show people where does your money go? Where does your taxpayer money go? What is the budget of the town and how does it get whacked up? So I think it's a very valuable thing. It's something I had thought about when I first became supervisor, and you could see I didn't get too far. So this is really great. So thank you all who worked on it. With that, let's move to the MOU for the contract with the resolution. Let me just see where we are with the town. So I need the town MOU. Resolution authorizing the town superintendent of highways to assist the village of Millerton and its highway department with plowing, repair and maintenance of the village highways pursuant to the provisions of section 142E of the highway law during the period of village's state of emergency. So with that, Mayor, thank you for coming and joining us, and I appreciate it a lot. And maybe you could, before we dive into that, maybe you could just give us an update on where you are.
You're good if I just sit. and talk.
It's very good.
So the village is still under a state of emergency and will continue that as needed. So everybody knows of the fire and everybody did a really good job under extremely stressful circumstances to figure out a path moving forward. Our most critical point of that was making sure that our water system could be up and operating without too much time going by. We never had to put out a boil water notice, which was good. Our water operators were there on site from 5:30 a.m. until it was solved the day of the fire. Was blessed by DEC and Board of Health. We are continuing to sample it quite often as requested to make sure that everything is good. A week in, we're pretty good. We're planning for the immediate needs, which we think are solved. Our immediate needs was making sure that we had support from the town of Northeast to help maintain our roads and plow and get our water system operating. And that was the immediate need. Our next kind of goal is our short-term, where are we going, how are we doing this, and what's the plan to move forward? And we've been working with our engineers, water operators, Department of Health to come up with the best solution for us, for the village and for that site. A little bit, nothing will really look like it's happening until after the insurance company's investigators release the scene. They're still working on that. They brought in another company to look at it. Foul play has been ruled out, but it's a matter of or what happened. And we're just meeting with adjusters and moving forward. We've had a lot of support from the county, other municipalities outside of the state. Our fire department was great. I should probably mention that. They were very helpful. Dutchess County Sheriffs were very helpful. We have lots of equipment being loaned to us, and everyone has offered their support, from the town of East Fishkill to Sharon, Connecticut, to the town of Bancroft. So we're pretty fortunate. It makes you realize what a special place this is to live in when all of those resources like all of a sudden show up at your door when you need them, so that's pretty cool. So that's really where we're at. We're, plugging through the beginning of insurance and all of that fun stuff. And anybody that's been through any kind of fire or insurance loss knows it's a pretty monumental task, but we're tackling it and at least coming up with a plan to move forward. So we think for the most part, everything is business as usual, with the exception of the ability to plow people's sidewalks. So good time to make a plug that if you live in the village, it's a reminder, we've always done it as a courtesy, but without the equipment to do it, it's really the responsibility of a property owner, a homeowner, to take care of your sidewalks. So we are hoping that we will have a loaned piece of equipment within the next week to help us out for the remainder of the season for that, but in the meantime, shovel away. And so that's really, I guess my thing would be, I'm sure you all have questions, whether you want to ask them now. I really want to make sure that as the village moves forward, that we focus on the facts of what is happening. There's so many rumors out there, and I said the same thing to my board when we met, was it is really important for us to deal in absolutes. And if you don't 100% know the story, then go to the source to find out if it's true or not. I'd rather answer my phone 30 times in a day than be stopped every place I go to answer a question that has no basis of truth on this, so.
Right, or see on social media, some harebrained.
And
thing.
I never engage in any of that. Usually the people that post those all have my phone number, and I would call me if you want to know, because I'll tell you whatever it is that I know.
We have what we have here tonight, and first of all, anybody who has a question for the mayor, and she's here. I think we've wanted to know what we can do, first and foremost to help out, and as you know, we do share the equipment, the storage barn up at the highway garage, and we do share the salt shed. And we have room and facilities up there. The fueling thing you've been using for a long time. So your people are very familiar with our highway garage, and obviously anything that we can do.
Our highway superintendent, or DPW, however you want to call him, mentioned to me today how great and cordial and helpful everybody has been at the town highway garage, and that's important. I remember there's one specific incident the morning of the fire where Sean Morrison was there, and immediately he had said to me, do you want us to do the roads? I'm like, we have nothing. Yes, if you see Bob or call Bob. And it was like, it was an immediate thing where like, okay, you're within our municipality and we're here to help, and we'll just jump in and help. And I don't know that you would find that in a lot of other places. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, I actually saw Jim Milton earlier today, who actually drove the truck because it was a smaller truck, which
Right.
can deal with the village streets better.
Right.
And he also noted to me that he actually knows the village streets quite well.
Right.
So he was the one who actually did the plowing, and I told him how much we appreciated that.
That's good.
We have a resolution that I've talked about, authorizing the town superintendent to assist the village. And everybody can read it. Basically, it's pursuant to the state of emergency that the village has declared. The great thing is we don't need an MOU. It doesn't have to go back and forth 15 times.
Right.
This simply enables the town to do what it has been doing and will continue to do, but it's putting a legal stamp on it. So with that, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the resolution. We can have the resolution read. I'm happy to read it. But you can read it? Okay, all right, you can have a reading.
All right, resolution authorizing the town superintendent of highways to assist the village of Millerton and its highway department with the plowing, repair, and maintenance of the village highways pursuant to the provisions of section 142C of the highway law during the period of the village's state of emergency. Whereas the village of Millerton Highway Garage and the vehicles and equipment stored within were recently destroyed due to a fire. And whereas the village declared a state of emergency pursuant to section 24 of the New York State Executive Law on February 2nd, 2024. And whereas the village has requested assistance from the town of Northeast with regard to the plowing, maintenance, and repair of the village roads during the state of emergency. And whereas section 142C of the highway law authorizes the town superintendent of highways to maintain the streets and highways of the village within the town borders on such terms and conditions as the town board and the village trustees may agree. And whereas the town and the village are in the process of negotiating a long-term memorandum of understanding for the sharing of the town's new highway garage, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the highway superintendent to assist in plowing, repairing, and maintaining the streets and highways of the village during the village's state of emergency pursuant to terms and conditions which may be agreed upon among the highway superintendent, the town board, and the village highway superintendent, the village mayor, and trustees.
One correction, it's February 2nd, 2025.
Thank you.
With that correction, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the resolution, unless there's any further questions or comment on it.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do
Aye.
you want to take a roll call on that?
There's a roll call.
Okay,
Supervisor Kennen,
aye.
Councilman Fidele,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison,
Aye.
Councilwoman Winkler.
Aye.
Great, we're in business. Anyway, well, thank you very much for coming out. We're gonna move on now to the fencing of the highway garage. But, you know, we're here and Mayor, and, you know, let us know anything and tell your highway person.
I'm
whoever's
sure
up.
we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Again.
Great, all right. The fencing of the highway garage, this is really the last item at the highway garage. We put out an RFP for the fencing of the highway garage. We actually got 8 bids on the fencing, which was remarkable. So the RFP was widely distributed and widely noted. We had numerous potential bidders that come up and look at the highway garage and actually walk it. We received bids on them. They have been evaluated by CPL, by George Schmidt of CPL, and we are prepared to accept a bid from Fesco Fence for this. They're able, as soon as the ground softens up a little bit, to begin work. Warren, this is the resolution that you prepared. Do you want to just describe the process?
Sure. So basically, let me just read the resolution.
Okay,
and then I'll
that'd be
go through
great.
it, so that'll explain it. Whereas the town has constructed a new highway garage at 6097 Route 22 North New York, and whereas the town engineer, CPL, has prepared plans and specifications for the said project, together with a bid package dated December 2024. And whereas the said plans and proposed bid package were reviewed by the town board and the attorney to the town and were determined to be acceptable in form and content. Whereas the town board by resolution dated December 12th, 2024, authorized the town clerk and town engineer to disseminate the notice to bidders and bid package, and to invite sealed bids for the furnishing of materials and labor necessary for the said perimeter fencing and automatic gate operator. And whereas the bid package required all bidders to include with their bid a 10% contingency allowance above the base bid. And whereas the bid of Fesco Fence Inc., and it's 237, I just corrected it, South Road, not Coop Road. 303 West Nyack, this bid of $166,000 was the lowest bid, but it was unclear whether the bid of $166,000 included 10% contingency allowance. And whereas the town in its bidding documents reserved the right in its discretion to waive technical noncompliance or should be irregularities, sorry,
Mhm.
that are not material or substantial in the bid submitted. And the town is further permitted to seek clarification from the bidder with regard to their bid submitted. That's under New York State decisional law. And whereas the town engineer has communicated with Fesco Fence Inc. and requested clarification of its bid to determine if the bid of $166,000 included the 10% contingency allowance. And whereas the town has been informed in writing by Fesco Fence that the total bid of $166,000 included an allowance of $15,090.91, which resulted in a base bid of $150,909.09. And whereas the town engineer on behalf of the town has reviewed the bids, held discussions with the town board, reviewed the qualification statement received, and check references to the extent reasonably possible, and has recommended that the bid of Fesco Fence Inc. of $150,909.09, together with the added mandatory contingency allowance of 10%, was the lowest responsible bidder. So this was a little more complicated than normal, it was my opinion after researching the issues that we were permitted to ask for clarification from the bidder under these circumstances and waive the non-technical compliance with the 10% because it was in fact mandatory in all bids.
So we have a bid, which I think is a good bid for this work. And I would just add that we were awarded a grant from Dutchess County several years ago for fencing, which is a little bit less than this amount, but not much. And so this work is actually going to be covered by this, mostly by the county's contract. Also, just want to say that the owner of Fesco Fence has been up here several times and has shown a real interest and eagerness in doing the job and doing it well and moving forward with it. So I feel very comfortable with recommending to the board that we accept their bid.
And that's what in the resolution resolving that we accept the bid of Fesco Fence for the fencing and the gate.
Yes, it does include a gate, a mechanical gate operator. That gate is actually, looks light, but it's not light. It's very heavy and it is hard at the moment, particularly Bob Stevens, when he gets up there early in the morning and then closes it at night. It's a hard gate to move. The mechanical gate operator will be able to be operated not only by our highway department, but by the village's highway department and by the fire district, and who also fuel their vehicles there. So it's an important piece of this thing. Any questions from the board on this?
You asked about a contract. The bid documents include a contract.
Okay,
So I'll confer with our engineer, who usually will give the notice of award to the bidder and the notice to proceed with the project. They have to sign a contract and give us certain insurance information if we don't already have that. I'll take care of that with our engineer.
I do actually want to just say that George Schmidt has been very helpful on this process. Has spent quite a bit of time on it. In that case, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution that the town board hereby awards the contract for the construction and installation of perimeter fencing and automatic gate operator for the new town highway garage to Fesco Fence Inc.
So moved.
Second,
Tilly, would you conduct a roll call on this?
Supervisor Kennen,
Aye.
Councilman Fidelli,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville,
Aye.
Councilman Morrison,
aye,
Councilman Winkler.
Also need the word document correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next item, which is the item I noted that I added this to the agenda, which is a resolution to accept the revised building department fee schedule. The board had talked about a revised fee schedule at one of its recent meetings. And we held up so that the board could spend a little bit more time looking at individual building department fees. And I'm happy to say that Meg Winkler, Councilwoman Meg Winkler, has spent quite a bit of time working with Ann Deneen and with Mike Segelkin on the building department fees, and it's also been, the fees have been, some of them have been adjusted. And it's also been reviewed by Ken McLaughlin, our building inspector. And for a number of reasons, I'm really happy to be able to bring this to you, because I'm really happy that the board and a member of the board has taken the time to really look at them. And I think that I can speak for Ann Deneen and the building department, saying they were really thrilled to have that interest and they learned things from going through the fee schedule. And I think it's an improved fee schedule. We've tried to make it somewhat more congruent with the village's fee schedule and with some other of the towns around us. We had held up approving the fee schedule at the reorg meeting, but I'm now really happy to present a revised fee schedule for 2025 for the approval of the board.
Yeah.
But Meg,
yeah, I think, I learned a lot through this process too. I mean, I'm aware people are supposed to pay fees, but most people, it seems like many people in communities never look for that info, whether they're commercial or residential, but, we did try to look at best practices and good ones, and when we were talking about benchmarking, what was best, what is the best one is our village. So it was updated, it was modern, contemporary, you could read it. And then we looked at, Mike is the code enforcement officer for Amenia, so he has firsthand knowledge of their fees. We looked at other towns some of them are really quite crude, but then I kept thinking, if anyone picked this up, like, you shouldn't have to guess. You shouldn't have to read narratives of long things. It should be very clear to anyone how long a permit is, what's required, how much you get back and these things. So with Ann's and Mike's help, we were able to break this down, and then there was many categories because it hadn't been updated in so many years. There are many categories that sort of someone came in and wouldn't know where to put them in. So now we really have separated certain things. We never really went, in only a few cases were lower, like on cell towers. And, it's funny, the minute that we say, oh, we never had something of a category, I just heard of something that we didn't put in commercial that I just heard someone say they want to put in commercial. So it's a good start, and it is something that Ann can update now yearly if needed, and we're not starting from scratch. So it's pretty good. Now it's more about getting it into the hands of our property owners, I think, somehow. So we're talking about, we'll post this to the web right away if it's approved, and then have them handy as printouts if people come here.
well, once again, I want to thank you and Ann and Mike for the work you did on this. It was great. With that, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the revised building department fee schedule for 2025.
Second.
Um, Could I have a roll call on this,
Yes,
please?
yes. Supervisor Kennen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison,
Aye.
Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilman Winkler,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville.
Aye.
Thank you. I also have just distributed to the board a revised fee schedule for the ZBA. The fees have not changed, so we do not need to formally approve it. It's just there's some language changes which Edie cleaned up some of the language to get it onto one page. And I have distributed copies of their fee schedule, which is the same fee schedule that they had last year. But I promised her that I would distribute it. The next item on the agenda is I need the board to approve the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials. This is something which is applicable to employees who do not punch a time card, who are not on an hourly basis. And is for the New York State retirement system. And it is something that comes before the board every year. And it is required to be approved by the board so that we can continue staying in the New York retirement system, state and local retirement system. So I distributed it to the board. I believe it gets posted on the bulletin board after we approve it. Yeah, it will be posted on the
30
bulletin.
days.
So with that, I would like to ask for an approval of the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's approved. And with that, we come to the public comment period. Unless I've missed anything. I think we got everything. And
Nice job.
we'll welcome public comment. I'm just gonna reiterate what we have reiterated before, which is the public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to give us their comments. It is not intended to be a debate. So we welcome your comments and we'll receive them. So with that, public comment, Mr. Bussell.
Yes, I can't,
And we've been reminded, I've been reminded that we have a time limit on public comment of 5 minutes. And we are going to observe that.
do it in that time. There are 2 or 3 things that are happening on the topic of housing. Columbia County, for example, had a very exciting funding opportunity to submit suggestions and do work in all the towns, because the supervisors are the ones who coordinate that. And as a result of that, they're getting a lot of support because towns are identifying the need and the contributions that they can make and the contributions that they'd like to have in the state. So that has been glorified by a fund that hires a person to coordinate all that with all the towns. And Dennis Wedlick, who is an architect, is orchestrating that and very eager to get that concept across to Dutchess County. And I think that in terms of the tri-town, the 3 towns or 4 towns in the village, to take that advantage, he wants to give a Zoom call to celebrate this guy, Chris Brown, who's done an extraordinary job in Columbia County, and would like to demonstrate how that can be done with a collection of people in Northern Dutchess. So that I think is very exciting. And the third thing is the contribution that, excuse me, the Dyson Foundation has made to the entire county on the subject of pre-development costs of $500,000 for the entire county. But if you're just talking about pre-development concepts and discussions and such, the Tri-Town Coalition would be very advantaged to get that kind of information. So we have three things that could really expand our need and desires to focus on that and get more people involved. That's my discovery.
Thank you very much. And I've heard of that, and I think it's very helpful.
And I've talked to Krista Hines about it because Hudson River Housing is the one that's receiving that money, and I think they should pay us some attention because we haven't been getting very much from them recently because there haven't been any housing or any properties available.
Any more public comment? Mr. Fish?
First of all, apologies if I'm repeating something that you mentioned in your initial comments because I missed that. But as many of you are probably aware, the New York State DEC issued air permits for the Iroquois expansion by compression project earlier this week. And our town joined many communities in the area in issuing resolutions asking that the state not issue those permits for a number of different reasons. I'll just list a few of the reasons. First of all, natural gas, which runs through the pipeline, is one of the most impactful greenhouse gases. And we recognize now that although we thought of that as a bridge fuel in the past, it's actually worse than oil, worse than coal, when you take into account the fact that it tends to leak from these pipelines. Also the health impacts on communities. Fortunately, we're quite a bit far away from the Dover compressor station. However, the Dover compressor station is less than a quarter mile away from the Dover High School. And those poor kids are going to have to be breathing that effluent from the compressor station. I was at Albany this morning at the Public Service Commission meeting where members of many communities across the area, Athens, where there's another compressor station, Dover, myself representing town in Northeast, made it known that we were very upset that this happened. It's actually would be against the law based on New York State's Climate Act. However, there's a carve out that says that if the PSC says, the Public Service Commission says that the gas is needed, then they can just override the act. So with all that being said, I know that the members of this board do meet with and interact with various electeds at the state, county, and federal levels. And I hope that you can continue arguing against this project because it could still be stopped and tell basically everyone that you run across that how disappointed you are that this has come to pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay, supervisor's report. I have a budget adjustment number 13 for 2024. A expense increase of $3,099 less an expense decrease of $3,099 for a net of zero in A fund. Could I ask for a motion to approve the budget adjustment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have a special abstract dated January 24th, 2024. This refers to last year's budget, totaling $14,236.82, broken down as follows. B fund, $3,905.82. DB fund, $10,331. Could I ask for a motion to accept the special abstract? So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right. What's the date? 2/13. 25. Can't believe it's 25. I have an abstract dated December 30th, 2024, totaling $51,945.56, broken down as follows. A fund, $3,149.22. B fund, $41,745 and no cents. DV fund, $7,051.34. Could I ask for a motion to accept the abstract?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one, an abstract dated February 13th, 2025, totaling $126,225.36, broken down as follows. For A fund, $62,106.37. B fund, $234.29. DB fund, $63,424.11. TNA two escrow, $175. And payroll TNA, $285.59. Could I ask for a motion to approve that abstract?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all. The voucher committee for March will be Ralph Fidelli and Meg Winkler. Minutes of the meetings of January 1, January 9,
January 2.
January 2, yeah, excuse me. January 2, January 9, and January 21 have been distributed to the board. Unless there are any corrections to those minutes, which there rarely are, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right, who was that?
That was long.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. With that, we've gone through the agenda, and I would like to ask for a motion to go into executive session for the council to discuss pending litigation against the town. Do I need a motion, right?
Yeah.
Motion by Lana.
Second.
Who was second?
Ralph.
Ralph.
Mhm.
Okay. With that, I would excuse everybody. Thank you very much for coming out. And anybody who has any further questions knows how to reach me too.
Jen, the lights on. I blind everyone to see it.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
I took them all right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yes, I know.
Who
you're good.
makes a motion to go out? And I will also turn off the record button.
Yes, thank you, Kelly, for everything you do.